If you are not careful, social media will destroy your very good relationship. Social media would take that your relationship, squeeze it, break it into pieces, and fling it away. You need to be very careful about the things that you consume on social media. Not to say that most of the things people are saying about men are not true, they are. But you need to be careful because most of these girls, the women that make content about that, analyzing men, their behavior, and all that, most of them are doing it from the hurt they felt before, from the pain they felt before, from their bad choices in men. They keep picking the wrong men and they keep having bad experiences. And that's why some of them have gotten to the point where they're just bitter and they just generally hate men. Hi, guys. If you're new here, my name is Binary Bello, and this is the Get Better podcast or the Every Girl Tribe. We're not sure yet. We're still trying to pick a new name for the channel, but you're welcome. And on this channel we talk about relationships, self-development, and we generally just try to get better every day. So this is somewhere you want to stick to. This is a family you want to join. So I saw a video on the internet few days ago of a girl saying that men are incapable of love. And the worst part is when they say things like this, they generalize it. Now, I do that sometimes, and I know that it's because it's a catchy phrase, right? It's a hook. You have to say something to compel people's attention so they could stay and listen to the end. But if you get to the end and you're still not explaining further and letting people know that it is not all men, then that is where the problem comes in, because you cannot tell me that every man on this planet are incapable of love. Now, I know that this is true to a very large extent, actually. Calm down, let me explain. This is true because of the way the society have built men, the way the mothers have trained their sons and then trained their daughters. Two different ways. They don't train men and women the same way. We're living in totally different worlds. Men are not living in the same world with the women. We are not living in the same world. So the men have been conditioned to see women in a certain way and use women in a certain way, and the women have been conditioned to treat men in a certain way. So when they come out and say things like men are incapable of love because of the things that they've seen them do, they are not entirely wrong, because most men kind of are incapable of totally loving a woman without wanting to, take advantage or try to oppress the woman, try to subject the woman to a certain level of, dominance or something. So yeah, she might be right. But the truth is that there are still a good number of men out there that were trained to actually love, that were trained to actually give and take, not just take, that were trained to actually also submit, and they understand the full meaning of leadership, they understand the full meaning of sacrifice and loving their wife and totally just being a decent human being, first of all, before any other thing, right? So there are men like that were trained like that. They just, because when a boy and a girl comes into this world, there is no one condition in their mind that just makes them act a certain way. If you see children, both boys and girls, they're just free, loving each other, being happy. And one day I was asking myself when I saw kids playing together, and I'm like, at what point do the boys start feeling like they're better than the girls? At what point do the men start feeling like the women are supposed to serve them and they're just supposed to sit down as kings and take all the service? I'm just trying to be funny. But honestly speaking, at what point do they start thinking like that? At what point do that orientation begin? Because it's definitely not from birth. At what point did they start telling the boys not to cry? You can't cry. Don't show any emotions. You have to be strong as a man, as a this. At what point do they start instilling that toxic trait in them, that toxic habits in them? At what point do they start killing the part of them that feel? And that is where the problem comes from. Men are not inherently incapable of love. So when a girl now, an average person in a loving relationship with a guy that grew up in a home where he saw the father just love the mother in every way possible, and then she sees something like that on the internet, and then she's wondering, this man doesn't love me because he's not even capable of love. Like that particular phrase is dangerous. So you need to be careful of the things that you hear and listen to on the internet. Very, very important. Now, to keep a balanced mindset and to be balanced, you have to be aware of the devices. There are men that are very narcissistic. There are men that are actually incapable of love. I can tell you this for free. There are men that are actually just looking for a woman to oppress. There are men that it's like their mission is to get a great woman and shrink her and crumble her. So you need to be aware of the devices. You need to be aware of the tactics. You need to be aware of the terms, how they move, how they act. You need to know all these things. What does it mean for a man to be misogynistic? What does it mean for him to be a narcissist? What does it mean for him to have ego? What does it mean when people say that some men do not want to watch their women grow better or become better than them? What does it mean for a man to want to sabotage your success and keep you in a box so that he can just tramp on you and then dominate you and oppress you and reduce you to nothing? What does it mean? You need to be aware of those devices. You need to be aware of those traits. You need to be aware of those patterns. But you need to also be careful to not make it destroy something good that you have going on. You need to be careful to not make it dominate your mind and then that's all you think about. I'm talking about the single ladies out there right now. You need to be careful so that you don't keep that as the only thing that you see. Because at the end of the day, you attract what you believe, you attract the things that you see, you attract the things that you consume, you attract the things that you think about more. So you need to be careful to understand these things, know how to identify them, but keep them somewhere at the back of your mind. Don't put them at the forefront because you're hoping for something better. So you need to know those things to make sure that when you see them, you run away from it. You see a man that is narcissistic, you know how to identify it, and you're like, gotta go. You know how to spot them to be able to escape them. But then don't keep it at the better part of your heart, at the forefront of your heart, because that is only what you'll be attracting. Don't keep it at the forefront of your heart for those who are in a relationship that you know that you're good, you are happy. Watch more videos to talk about happy family, happy homes. Watch more creators that have beautiful homes. Watch more of those kind of videos and don't concentrate on the bad ones. Okay, I think we've come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching to this point. I really appreciate it. If you have any other things to add in the comment section for things that we need to look out for and beware of, let us know. I actually think I'm going to start a series talking about things that social media have normalized, things that social media always talk about that are not true and that we should beware of and we should watch out for. I think I'm going to start a series like that, so you guys should let me know if it's something you guys are interested in. So yeah, thanks for watching once again. See you in the next video. Before you go, don't forget you are enough and God has given you everything you need to succeed. All you need to do is push. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye and namaste.